Now we will discuss the light which is emitted by the sun, whether it is a wave or it's a particle. This light may be emitted from a sun, from some incandescent bulb, or from a fluorescent bulb. So we will have to see that whether it is a wave or it's a particle. Now this thing remained quite debatable between the scientists over the history, and the very first one around 1700, Newton said that light is a particle. So the perception of the Newton was that the particle, and he called those particles as corpuscles, and the theory was called the particle theory of light or the corpuscular theory of light. And around the same time, the two other physicists, the Italian physicist Grimaldi and the Dutch physicist Huygens, they were of the opinion that light is a wave, so it was the wave theory that was famous and parallel. Now the problem which happened with the corpuscular theory or the particle theory which the Newton pursued is, we know that Newton lived from 1643 to 1727, and around 1700 he said that it's a particle nature, because he was looking to the sharp images to the periphery of the shadows, and that light travels in a straight line. So he said that it is composed of particles which he called corpuscles, and they are flowing in the form of a wave. So these are in reality particles which are flowing in the form of waves, while the Italian physicist Grimaldi, the Francesco Grimaldi, actually in 1665 just observed the diffraction of light, and he pointed out that its nature is a wave. Now, the Newton theory actually was good, but then it failed to explain the diffraction and interference of light. He wasn't able to explain this thing with the particle nature. But Grimaldi in 1665 explained diffraction with a wave theory or with the wave nature, and similarly during that while, the 1678, the Dutch physicist Christian Huygens formulated the wave theory of light. So they actually established the wave theory of light, and they successfully explained the diffraction and the interference of light. Now, another breakthrough came in this, that light is unequivocally means without any doubt a wave. Almost after 100 years of Newton, the French physicist Augustin Fresnel, who lived from 1788 to 1827, Fresnel formulated the laws of reflection and refraction, and he asserted that light is a wave. Similarly, the English physicist Thomas Young who lived from 1773 to 1829, he actually calculated his very famous experiments, the single slit and double slit experiments, from the diffraction of light, he actually proved or calculated the wavelength of light, and that it is approximately in the micron range. And for the first time, he said, Thomas Young, that light is transverse in nature. So the transverse nature of light was first said by Thomas Young. And a very comprehensive calculation that light is a wave. That light is a wave in the concept of electromagnetic waves, their nature, their speed, and all these were calculated by James Clerk Maxwell. So Maxwell actually calculated all this, and that light is a wave. At that time, when Fresnel gave the idea for the traveling of a wave, that ether is a medium in which light is traveling, which is required for the traveling of light, this concept was nullified by some experimental evidences, for example from the Michelson interferometer, and